bringing us here and giving us this opportunity. Thank you for the blessing that this friendship is in our life and the reflection of the love that it is between us and the way that you love us, Lord. I pray that we can just use the platform and the opportunity that you've given us to just pour your love and
Hello everyone! I'm Savannah.
I'm Laurel.
I'm Bella.
And this is
GODWINKS
Podcast.
Episode 1. That was really...
Yes. That was a good flow.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
That wasn't
For real, I really didn't even say anything.
That's okay. Well, I think the first thing that we should do, we honestly don't know what we're doing, but I think the first thing we should do is probably explain how our podcast came to be. How we came up with this idea.
Yeah.
I think Bella kind of started off and gave us, I don't know, Bella, you can tell your story.
Okay, so when I was in Peru, the first day that we were there, we got to meet with one of the students that none of us had ever gotten to meet before because of COVID. And her story was, during COVID, she had lost her grandfather and her dad, and her sister she was taking care of. So basically, like, her life was just more than anything I could ever imagine. Araceli. And when we got to meet her, it was actually the day of her dad's birthday. And she had been a scholarship student, and then in the midst of everything asked us to, like, take her off the scholarship list. There was just, like, a bunch of stuff due to her circumstances. Yeah. So when we got to meet with her, it was, like, a big, important day. And it just happened to fall on her dad's birthday. We didn't even know. Yeah. And
so even more of the
exactly.
Keep going, I'll give it away.
No, it's okay. And then when we got to meet her, she was telling us how that day she had woken up just so depressed. And in Peru in the winter, it's, like, very, very gloomy. You don't see the sun a lot there. It always looks like a rainy day, even if it's never raining. And that she was just, like, in her bed praying, and she was, like, speaking to her dad to, like, just give her a sign of, like, hope in this world. And when she got out, the sun was shining that day. And it was also crazy because it was just, like, my first day in Peru. And I was like, wow, like, it's unheard of. And then when we got to meet her, yes, all Jesus. And when we got to meet her, she was telling us just how she took that as such a God wink from her dad and from the Lord to her. And then we got to bless her with pairing her with a scholarship sponsor family and sponsoring, like, the rest of her scholarship time for her schooling. And the schooling there is just really different. So, like, it's a huge deal for them to, like, receive something like that, and even to ask to have that. So when we paired her with a family, she was just saying that, like, it was so surprising to her, and that it was just such a God wink to her. It was, like, the term that she kept using, and the way she explained it was just, like, God's little touchdown to her to remind her that he's there, and, like, her dad's there. Yes. Saying hi.
That's cute.
Yes. And then when I got back home, I just, like, talked to my friends about my time there, of course.
Yeah.
And it just kind of flowed.
And then from there, me and Savannah, it was like, when was that?
It was when
like
we went to
recently.
church.
Yeah.
We had, like, a huge talk after church.
Yeah, and then you slept over, and then we talked to like 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And I don't stay up that late. I stay until like 10 at most, unless I'm, like, working.
Yeah.
But, like, we had the best talks, and, like, we just, like, realized stuff as we speak. And so she was like, we should make a podcast, like, we should have videoed all of that, you know. And then we didn't.
It was
but
a good talk.
it was a really good talk, and hopefully all of that will be reset eventually on here. But then we were driving, and we were, like, trying to come up with the name of the podcast, and then you could let's do things.
So I kept just blurting out random things, you know, trying to see if one would stick.
You were.
They didn't.
They weren't sticking.
And then, so I drive a Jeep Wrangler, and I don't know if y'all know what this is, but it's like a Jeep wave. So anytime two Jeeps pass each other, they do, like, that together. And I don't know, it's just, like, a cute, like, little community thing. And so, like, it's kind of like, whenever I did that, I was like, oh, that's kind of like a God wink, you know? Because whenever you don't drive a Jeep, you don't really recognize Jeeps, you know?
Like, you're not looking out to,
Yeah.
for a Jeep.
notice it.
Yeah. And, like, the same as, like, if you don't, like, if you believe in God but you don't really follow him, you're not going to see him as much.
Like, if you're not, like, seeking, like, or you're not, like, looking for him, like, you don't care enough. Like, you're not
Yeah,
to
I
see
get what
little
you're saying.
touches
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
Like, you're not automatically going to think, like, oh, that's from the Lord.
Yeah,
Right.
but, and then back to the Jeep, like, if you drive a Jeep, you're going to see more Jeeps.
Mhm.
Like, that's just how it
You're gonna
is.
notice
And
it.
then, like, if you follow God, you're going to see God more in your life. So I just thought that was, like, a cute little concept, and was like, that's kind of like a God wink.
Because, like, right when they
Yeah.
did it, like, she was like, God wink.
Yeah.
I just waved to that Jeep. So.
And then Laurel was like, wait,
That's it. It's perfect.
Yeah, so that's just kind of what
Yeah.
happened with the whole GODWINKS
Yeah.
title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great idea. And thankfully, we've already had our very first DM from Ashley Rock.
Yes.
Yes, we love you.
Yes, we sure do. And what was her first question? Let's look. It was really good. And we've already have some
What are some of the struggles you
Ideas.
face in a Christian life?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm literally stupid.
No, you're not. You are smart.
But yeah, that's a great question, and I think Savannah, you can go right off, babe, and we'll follow you later on.
Starting it off.
Yeah, baby.
Oh wow.
Let's see
That's
where it
kinda
takes
stressful.
us.
Okay, so one of the struggles I definitely have is like being alone, like not in a relationship. Because I, in the past, have like just jumped from guy to guy, trying to find like fulfillment in something. I thought it was from like a boyfriend that I needed, but in reality it
attention
was
from him.
yeah. But in reality it was just I needed God, and now I've finally realized that, thankfully.
Yeah.
But so that's definitely something I've struggled with, and I don't know if either one of y'all can.
Definitely.
relate with
I
that.
definitely
think
struggle.
anyone can in
Yeah.
the world, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just like you had said, like you like have jumped from guy to guy or whatever. Like I had been since I was like straight out of 13. So like
Yeah.
until like now fully like single. I've been single for a whole year now, fully, and it's great. We're not gonna get into relationships, but yeah, it's definitely a struggle because like I was telling them before we started videoing. Sometimes I feel like the enemy will kind of attack me in a way because I am more spiritual now. I guess not like he'll try to like bring me back to like or like give me like a memory or like I'll have days where I'm like not even like a day like because now I'm pretty good at pulling myself out of
Good
things
thought.
because only through God's strength can I do that.
Yes.
But I just feel like he'll give me like a little PTSD from like old stuff and stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like if, like I just said to you guys, like if he can't make you like go back to the person that you were before, then he's gonna make you unhappy in the place that you are in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you just have to have confidence like in the place that you're in that God is working in that place.
Yes.
And it's hard.
especially
truly
in
is
a
so
waiting
hard.
season.
Definitely.
Waiting sucks.
Yeah.
I will be honest. It sucks, but it's so worth it. And we wouldn't be doing this podcast if we weren't in the waiting.
Yeah.
Like,
Like we're not always gonna just like get the immediate answer that we want from God of like,
right.
okay, now we've changed our whole lives from like the way we
Mhm.
used to live, and
Yeah.
we're like, okay, what are we doing, God? And like it's literally been a whole year until we're like, okay, I kind of feel like I have a ground on like what my
Like,
purpose
great.
is through
Yeah.
Christ, and
Yeah.
like it's not the things of the world or what career I'm doing. It's about like bringing glory to Him in anything that I do.
Mhm.
You can do that if you're in a school. You can do that if you're working, like they said, at church, at a coffee shop. If you're
Right.
doing whatever, it is about the intention behind it. And like
Yeah.
love is not about words. It's like in the actions and the attitudes that we carry through that. And like
Right.
Yeah.
it is a struggle though to like be like, okay, I feel like I've given my life over to the Lord and like I'm not
Nothing's
getting
happening.
any answers. And it's
Mhm.
like you also have to have that discernment to like lean into Him. Just like
He wants you to fully rely
Yes.
on him. Like, not just be like, okay, I waited a few days and nothing happened. I heard nothing from you.
yeah,
But,
it's
like,
to
you-
gain trust.
Yeah, and like you also have to like open your Bible too, and like hear
Mhm.
him. Like you can't be the only one talking either all the
Yeah.
time. You know,
Yes.
like you have to give him a chance to speak to you.
And like be still in His. That's definitely a huge struggle for me.
What'd you
Like
say?
being still and just like
oh, yeah.
letting whatever season of life I'm in, like helping me be present in it. That's something that like this past year has really taught me.
Yeah.
Because we just moved home from Athens, if you didn't know. And I,
Unfortunately. I mean, unfortunately in some ways, but
yes, but like that, it
Unfortunately,
was so
most.
the Lord's like bringing us home, but it's also like very different to be like, okay, we were in a place with so much freedom
Mhm.
and just getting to know ourselves and like getting to like be alone with the Lord, and then being in a place where you're almost never alone. And like there's good things about that too, but it's also like I had so much free time to like just, if I wanted to go on a walk, literally I would just go on a walk and like pray and have peace. And now I have like,
Have me time.
yes, and
Cool.
it's like so
All the
much
ruckus.
noise around you, you know, and like
Yeah.
even with working more and like being in school again and just different things, it's like it's a struggle to, God should never just fit in a calendar. It should be the thing that like pours out of us from how full we are in Him. But we can't pour out if we're an empty cup.
Yeah.
So like you said, like you have to open the Bible and like fill yourself with that part of
Yeah.
Him, you
Like,
know?
listen to what there's a whole book on what He has to say. You know.
Exactly.
Like,
And
how
one
to
of
help
his-
you through a good bit of like the problems that we struggle with.
It literally hits every
Yeah.
single emotion.
Mhm.
Like, and if people, like, and I'm not gonna speak for all of it because I have not read the entire Bible, but
Neither.
I'm working on it. We're working on it, but I just feel like even like the little stories, like in the Bible, like I'll give a simple one, like how Jesus was asleep in the boat, and was it Peter? And he was like, "Oh my God, the storm's coming! Like Jesus,
Yeah,
wake up! Like what's disciples. going on?" And he was just like, "Dude, be still. I'm
Like
here.
he
Why'd
was
you wake
asleep
me
on a
up?"
pillow. Like he had
He
no
had peace
worries.
in
Like
the middle
he,
of the storm.
yes,
Yeah, it's just kind of like that.
exactly. And like he is our anchor. Like this thing actually spoke to me so much. Sorry, I'm like.
I don't
You
care.
were perfectly fine.
But like a struggle, Ashley actually, or someone asked us, like, how do you keep anchored in the middle of a storm like
No, that was Sam.
Okay, it was
wasn't
Sammy
it? She
from
was like,
church,
"What do you
yes.
wish you would have
Yes,
Um,
known in the middle
known
of a storm.
in the midst of the storm?"
And like that comes with struggles too, because like the Christian life is not gonna be perfect. If anything, in
It's
the middle
harder.
of a storm,
Yeah.
it's like
because the devil is like,
yes, and
Like,
finding the discernment to like
hard.
know like okay, I don't just have to go by what I'm feeling. Like I can do something about it. But something that has like helped me like realize that a lot. It was actually like one day in Athens, me and Laura were in the kitchen. I was just having a day, and all I
when you
wanted,
dropped your soup
Yes.
or whatever. I know exactly
all
what
I
day.
wanted was
And she freaked out,
chicken
went to her
dumpling
room.
soup, and I accidentally spilled it, and like literally I was like, okay, I
And
need.
you just bought it from Kroger.
Yeah, and I had worked all day. I was like, I need to just be by myself.
I did that one time in my house in Athens. It was eggs.
Yes.
She said it was eggs.
Yes.
All of it. And I literally
All gone.
pick it up and I grab my drink and I'm walking and the rug was like crumbled and so I like tripped over it and I just looked
All
at
gone.
it. And
That
I
was just
like,
the cherry
yeah,
on
okay.
top for you. pretty
Yeah, I
much.
just left it there and just went to my room for a minute so I could just gather.
Yes,
That
like
was
you
just
have
kinda-
to for
That's
a
what she
second.
did. She
So I
went.
like went and I had actually screenshotted this random thing, and that's just a God wink right there. Like I had seen Sadie had posted something on her, on her Instagram, and it was like Christine Kane's "Do Not Drift" message, and like that changed my life. And the message was on Hebrews 6:19, which like has just played such a big part in my faith journey. And she said, because the verse is, "I have this hope as an anchor for my soul, for when secure enter the inner sanctuary behind the curtain." And like we don't need an anchor in shallow water. So when we're in shallow water and we're going through like the little struggles in life, dealing with the little waves, like we're just drifting. When we're out deep, that's when we need the
need
anchor
an
for our
anchor to
soul.
keep us
Like that is
still.
what's
Yeah.
keeping us grounded, and like the Lord is the
Yeah.
anchor within us, and like He's what can root us. And we might drift somewhat, but when we have that anchor, it'll keep us solid in Him. And like learning that in the middle of a struggle is really hard, but it's
Just
like
like-
that is what works.
I don't know if this was the same thing as Peter in the boat, but remember when Jesus was walking on water in the middle of the storm? And was it Peter walking on water?
Yes,
right?
Peter said like let me
walk on
yeah.
water, and then Jesus like, all right, keep your eyes on me. And then he took his eyes off Jesus, and he fell.
immediately
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
washing off, and it's like
so you have
that's
to keep
crazy.
your eyes on Jesus in the middle of the storm. That was good. Sorry.
Yes, no, it really
Mic
is.
drop.
Yeah.
And like just going off of that too, like changing or not even changing, like God transforms your life, dude.
Yeah.
And like, but when you go through that much transformation, it can be like overwhelming at once
Yeah.
because you're hit with all your convictions and like all your past sins, and like even thinking just how we were talking about before, like people from our past or like people that don't really know us for who we are now can sit here and watch this and be like, oh, y'all are so fake. Like I have seen y'all do whatever. And like even myself, like I'll be like, how, like how is this my life? Not in like a bad way, but like I can't believe that that's what I used to be,
And what God
and like what God has
redeemed.
brought me to. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
literally feel like my old person, like my old
Yeah.
self's a stranger.
and it's
Yeah.
like, but we have to have
Yeah.
forgiveness for ourselves in that moment, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what's like really hard sometimes.
And
because
also,
it's like,
with that, I feel like more, I don't know, like, I don't know how to put this. I wrote it down. Hold on. Oh yeah, being kind of judged by
Yeah.
like old people, and just not old people. I'm sorry, old friends. Old friends, not by the old people. By the old friends that we used to have that I still love and care for very much, but I do post things that they're probably, I would have been like, girl, what in the world are you on? You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I just feel like a little bit of that is me trying to rely on myself for confidence. I said her for confidence,
It's okay.
but for confidence. And now it's just like, I'll get in moods where I'm like, oh, they're like they like that post, like I know that they're judging me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's like, it doesn't.
That's the enemy.
Like this is my strong circle. I can't speak. Circle of faith,
Mm-hmm.
like right here, and that's all I need. So
And, like if one person saw that post and it brought them joy, the one person that didn't, what matters more?
And if
you know?
God removed them, then it's like the big teddy bear and the little teddy bear. You're like
Yes.
handing over the little one. He has the big one. He's like, trust me, I swear.
You just have to give me the little one first. Like
And
you
I
have
promise
to
you-
lay down and take up your
Mhm.
cross.
Exactly. So I think losing friends was a big one, and I think confidence is a big one, and I think also being misunderstood is a big one too.
Yes, that's
But
what
like
I meant
Lauren
like with
Daigle-
forgiveness.
Yeah, like Lauren
There's
Daigle did say, what did she
misunderstanding.
say? Allow people to misunderstand you. Didn't she say
Offenses
that?
given, not taken, and you can
That
choose
too.
up front to give someone the permission to misunderstand you.
That's so good.
And like that spoke. Shout out to Well
Because
That's
it-
Good podcast.
And to Lauren
Yes.
Daigle,
Yeah.
we love you so much. We just saw you in concert. You did fantastic.
If you're watching
I
this.
saw
Yeah, we
you
know.
guys.
With our 100 followers, you'll
Yeah.
probably see this. We'll tag you.
I will.
But yeah.
And it's like that is such a, and it's even biblical. Like you see in the Bible, like Jesus was one of the most misunderstood person. He died on the cross because of that. Oh yeah, people. Sorry, like because people didn't understand him in his time. And like, okay, how many of the disciples and apostles were all killed for their beliefs? And it
Look
just
at-
shows.
What's his name? John the Baptist. I don't know if y'all have ever seen. I don't know what show it was. It was Jesus of Nazareth. It's like 6 hours long. But what's his
Yeah.
name? John the Baptist looks like a crazy person. I was like, follow Jesus. He's like throwing water at everyone, baptizing them.
And people
You know,
were like made fun of him.
But like he knew it because God spoke to him directly. So like, imagine seeing that. Like he's not even of this earth. So like, if he were to come down and vocally, actually say words to me, I would probably be acting a nut. Like be
Yes.
baptized.
Yeah,
Like you know.
like-
I would be running around.
It's the
like
whole
crazy
mission of
person.
Nuts.
life,
Yeah.
you know, like.
Yeah, that's intense.
And like he
that's
prepared
crazy.
the way for Jesus to come. So if I knew that that was coming, I'd be like, okay, y'all, like, come on.
Yeah. Jesus came up to him and he was just like
That movie's
in
really
awe.
good.
Yeah, I had look. I'll be honest. I didn't watch all 6 hours of it, but I did watch like 3 hours of it. And it was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
and when he was like Satan, there was this boy. I'll just say it. So there was this boy. I know I've told John. I think you watched it with
Yeah.
me, but it was like this boy. He was like possessed. And this is where people of the old times are gonna be like, girl, you are not. But it's so true. Like, if you just gave it a chance, it's so true. But like, he was possessed or whatever, and then the people were like, go get him, God, he's possessed by demons and stuff. And so God, or Jesus goes in there and he's like, Satan, leave him, or whatever. And then just everything, like, he was
It just
running
gave
around
me chills.
rampant, like
Yeah.
like he had rabies or something. I'm serious.
Yeah, and that's what they said. Like he was seizing and
Oh.
foaming from his mouth.
And then all Jesus had is like, he has that much power. So if he has that much power over that, you know, just our lives, and just leave it in his hands. He's got it
Yeah.
under control. He formed us. He formed this whole thing.
Like he came and took the lowest place of the lows. And like people will say like, okay, why would Jesus have put himself in that low of a place if he's the same of God? And it's like, because if he would have been a king and put in a tower and like all, we would not be able to relate with him in any way. Like if we feel pain, if we feel grief, if we feel suffering, if we feel betrayal, joy, happiness, like good and bad, like he knows it all and is with us in it all.
Yeah.
And, like,
to, like relate.
Yes.
Relate with us. you
And
know?
like during the struggles, like that is the whole point of it. Like he struggled more than I could even imagine in one lifetime. And his whole ministry, it wasn't his whole lifetime. It was like 3 years that
Yeah.
he did all of that and like went through. I'm talking about struggles over a span of 21 years, and he had that many that fast,
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
and then died
That's
the most.
Like the temptations. And he
Yes.
came back at, like, he had the courage to come back at Satan with scripture.
Exactly.
It wasn't even like scripture then, like, that's what made it scripture. Like,
Mhm.
he was just right.
Read the word of God.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like, just the level of forgiveness that he even had for, like, people in his life, like, helps us pave the way for, like, how we do forgive. Like, one thing that really spoke to me just biblically was, like, and Sadie says it in her wedding video, like, what is the measurement of forgiveness? And it's 70 times 7.
That just reminds me of her.
Or 70 times 70. 70 times 7. Okay.
70
whatever
times
it is.
7, I think.
Yes, it is that. And
If you want to comment, say it and let us know what it is.
yes, and it's like, and how that happens is in the Bible is they're like asking Jesus like, how many times should I forgive? Like, which I'm okay. I've probably asked my parents that and like asked other people in my life like, how many more times do I have to like go through this before I can forgive them? But it's like endless, like literally infinite, more than we could count or imagine in a lifetime. And not like you should have negative people that close to you in your circle. Like you should have a strong circle of faith, but you don't have to harbor the unforgiveness, because not forgiving them is only hurting you. It's not affecting their life at all, and it's actually only building you lower down.
You have more of like a hard soul, you know, like break down your walls, like be vulnerable, you know?
Yeah, and like I know I had like a very hard time like with my old friends and all my old relationships and everything. Like being able to forgive them was like a really hard thing for me, and looking back I'm like, wow, like that took way too big of a toll on me.
Yeah,
like it's only happening to you.
Yeah, but like I kept letting it happen, and still like just watched it, and I was like, that's
like
not
harboring
okay.
resentment and like
but
anger.
But that's what's so cool is like, I'm sorry, I don't know what noise I just made. The microphone didn't pick up the ASMR, but that's what's cool about it. It's like at the beginning of quarantine, like how you were saying before we even started filming, like I was in such a different place and the whole world shut down, and then now I'm making a podcast 2 years later. It's like, but all through those 2 years, like we started out slow. He was like, okay, I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take it slow because I'm patient, you know, and I'm gonna be whatever.
And
like,
give you this. Like I'm not just taking.
But when I take it, look what I give you in return.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like you have to open your eyes and see that, and you have to be patient with me because I'm patient with you. So as he's like taking things and transforming stuff and everything, it's just like crazy. Like we also said before this, like I'll see things that I would have saw 2 years ago and my heart would have went like down into my soul, and now I'm just like, yeah, I mean, and they because
it
I know
doesn't
it's not
affect
them.
you in that way.
It's like it's literally a devil and angel on your shoulder. It's like Satan and
you
like,
pick what voice you listen to.
That was good. We're gonna quote that.
You're the one that like sent me that TikTok, and it was like what you put, like just like with what you see in the world, like what you feed your ears with, and what you
is what you
look at is like what you're going to feed your soul with. So if you say like, I struggle with this, don't. If you struggle with lust, don't watch 50 Shades of Grey. Simple, like you know what I mean. Like that's an example. It's like just little things like that. Like if you're an alcoholic going to a bar and saying I'm not 5 out of
it's temptation. Why would you do that?
Or 5 out of 10 nights, 5 out of 7 nights,
5 out of 10 nights.
I'm like, let's extend the week. I need more time. Yeah,
it would
like
still fly by.
Exactly. Yeah, it just like there's always struggles, and there's never not gonna be struggles in any season of life that we're in. But it's, are you gonna be present in that like moment of the joy in the midst of our circumstances, because that is the anchor, is like God's joy for us, or are we gonna give the struggle our present moment and
more
take us away from the good parts of it? Because we're always gonna want what we don't have if we're always looking forward to what we want next. Like we're never gonna be fulfilled.
Right, you need to be appreciative for what God's already giving you. Like
exactly, we're living in an answered prayer.
Like literally, like I was never okay alone. Yeah. You know, and now I'm like I said, my heart doesn't even sink when I see things or hear things, or not even that. Just like how I control my own emotions now. Like I can just pull myself out of it because I have God living inside of me.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. What's that? There's something. It's like what you prayed for years ago. Like all the good things you prayed for years ago is like where you are now.
Exactly. Like you're living
somewhere.
Probably.
Like
sure.
Like you're living in an answered prayer. No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah.
Like this exact moment, think about how many prayers have gone into making this podcast.
Yeah.
I know.
A lot.
Or like even getting to like, we have so many like long random conversations, and we're always like, okay, like this is more beneficial than like what we're even meaning it to be, so like why wouldn't we share it? And it's not our own like words that we're like, oh, we're so smart that like we're figuring this out. It's like, no,
I don't even know what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's like we're just learning from each other, and like learning from like what the Lord has revealed to each of us together, and we like want to share that with y'all. And like be able to tackle things like Ashley's question, and like things that y'all want to hear about, you know?
Yeah, which we've already gotten some pretty good stuff. So next week, I think we've already decided what topic we're gonna do.
Yes.
We won't say it yet.
Yes.
Maybe
you'll have to watch. We're forcing you. Well, I think that was pretty good.
No,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of us.
Yeah.
I think that we should maybe say bye.
Okay, so
All right. Well,
thank
we
y'all
hope
for
that you listened to
Yes.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
Thank
for-
you.
tuning in.
Please bear with us.
Yes, bear with us. This one, like, I don't know if it's shaky.
We just
you know?
wung it. Wang
Yeah,
it.
we just wang it.
Jesus.
We're just going with the flow
I'll
and
pray
speaking
after
what
this, I'm
like
sorry.
has come to our minds, and
God.
like this isn't scripted. Like this is just
Yeah.
from
If you
what
couldn't
has been
tell.
put on my heart. Yeah, as we're like.
I didn't write wang it on the
yeah.
script.
Yeah, and,
so-
like my 4 notes that I have.
My
Yeah.
one line. I
Yeah.
never write notes.
But we just
I
hope that like this spoke to you.
Yes.
Yes,
We really
and-
do.
Please keep giving us ideas, and we
Yes.
love you.
Shout out at GODWINKS podcast.
Yes. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube,
Any prayer requests, please DM us
And-
and topics.
Yes. Spotify, and
Please follow and subscribe.
and Gmail. So
We love you.
love you.
we love you.
Bye. Oh. Bye.
You filming? No, that's not what you press. You press the.
We are
One.
direction.
Okay.
I'm Harry.
No, you're not.
No.
We are One Direction. I'm sorry. We'll start over.
It's videoing.
Yay.
And I
And then